Alright, this is AW10 and section 5.3. Today we're going to talk about the acronym SOHCAHTOA. It's probably the one thing your parents still remember from trigonometry, and so it is kind of something that once you get this, you're going to remember for quite a long time. SOHCAHTOA, an acronym, it basically is a little bit of a formula to help us remember an important either formula or saying. So there are three trigonomic ratios that we care about for right triangles. The first one is our sine ratio, and your sine ratio basically stands for the opposite side length over your hypotenuse side length, based on the labeling we did yesterday in 5.2. There's the cosine ratio, which is the adjacent side length divided by your hypotenuse side length. And last we have our tangent ratio, which is the opposite side length divided by your adjacent side length. Now, each three of these tend to be shortened. Sine just turns into usually sin, but still sine. Cosine is turned into cos, C-O-S, and tangent gets shortened down to tan. So a lot of times, especially in mathematics, we will shorten these very, very quickly. So, to better understand this, we're going to kind of illustrate what's happening here. And we're going to use a shorthand for it. So we have the acronym SOHCAHTOA, and this is to help you understand and remember those three trigonomic functions. So we have sine equals your opposite over hypotenuse, cos equals your adjacent over the hypotenuse, and tan equals opposite over adjacent. To help you visualize this, I've kind of drawn each of the triangles. And we're going to add into this. There are three pieces of information in order to solve trigonomic ratios. You need to know at least two of them. Either sine, cos, or tan, you're going to be dealing with the angle you've labeled your triangle from. So we're going to have sine of theta, whatever that theta or whatever that angle is, equals your opposite length over top of your hypotenuse length. And this is based off of an angle in our right corner. For cos, we're going to have cos of our theta, so again, based off of this triangle, or this angle, when I label this triangle, you could put in your opposite side, but it's not really going to help you because cos only uses the adjacent side and our hypotenuse. So this would be our SO, this would be Ka. Last we have is TOA, which stands for our tangent ratio. So tan of theta. So labeled based off our angle in our corner, we have the opposite side divided by our adjacent side. So yesterday's class I already stressed, you want to make sure you're labeling your triangles correctly. If you don't label your triangles correctly, when you go to use any of your three trig functions, what's going to happen is you're going to get incorrect answers just because you're using the wrong ratios. We're not going to solve these ratios just yet. What's going to happen is we're going to go through and figure out which one you would use in a situation. What do I mean by that is, when we're going through trigonomic questions, there's a bit of a pattern it goes to solving these. When I have a right triangle, I'm going to be given some sort of angle. And I might be given one of our sides. So if I'm given my hypotenuse side, I'm going to say it's 17 meters. If I'm asked to find either of these sides, let's say I'm asked to find my unknown side here, the way you solve this is you first start by labeling your triangle. So we know this is the hypotenuse, this is my opposite, and this is the adjacent. I then pick my right formula based on what I know. I know that I have an opposite and a hypotenuse. I look at my three trig functions, which one uses opposite and hypotenuse. It could be my sine ratio. So I would then fill out and say sine of my angle, which would be 35, equals the opposite, which I do not know, divided by my hypotenuse, which would be 17. For today, we're going to stop there. In later lessons, we're actually going to continue and solve this. But this is the beginning or the basic steps for solving trig questions. You always start by labeling your triangle, picking your correct formula, and filling it in. Once you filled it in, we then solve the formula. For today, that's all we want for section 5.3, and you're going to have two questions. Question 1 is, which trig ratio would you use for the following? And then for question 2 is, I want you to write out each of our trigonomic functions for both sine, cos, and tan. If you have any questions or concerns, I will be available for Tuesdays and Thursdays during tutorial. Otherwise, good luck.